Hello, beautiful people. It's Tasha, Mom Bear Prepping. So welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. I'm about to give it to you today, baby. We're about to talk about it, okay? Everybody's talking about it. Every channel's talking about it. News sources everywhere talking about it. And to be honest, you know, I watch the stuff all the time. And so this pox situation is something that I've researched heavily in the past. I actually did a video several months ago, maybe 5-6 months ago, and, you know, showing you basically everything that I found and how to prepare. And I will put that video, first of all, in the description box below, the link to it, please, and I'll add it as a card at the top. Please take a minute and view that video as well, because I go into a lot of information. In that video, I actually go over a very specific timeline. I take you through the timeline of the different poxes. And in that video, I talk more about tiny pox. Yes, I'm talking in code, okay? Because these are the type of videos that they do not like us to talk about, right? So tiny pox, tiny with an S, if you get my drift, was the main purpose or focus of that video. But I talked a little bit about animal pox, right? This pox that we're seeing now. And I talk about how to prepare. I talk about some holistic stuff. I talk about a huge piece of it, though, is just timeline. It's just facts of things that have happened, things that people have said, different information. It's a good video, very good informational video, just to give you a good outline of what it is, everything. Okay. So please check that out. In this video today, I want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about what's currently going on and my thoughts on it. And I also want to talk about some facts, okay? This isn't going to be a timeline facts. It's just going to be kind of some facts to bring it into perspective for you, right? Just like the thumbnail talks about, you know, is this something that we need to be concerned about? Now, as you know, year 2, there was that whole truck that turned over and somebody got pox. Last year, I believe there was 2 cases. If I serve my memory correctly, last year there was 2 cases. And of course, people talked about it. Of that, just so you know, like they investigated over 200 people throughout 27 states is what I read. Off of those couple and it's not an outbreak, okay? Those couple of people that got the pox, right? The animal pox. So in that sense, no big deal. You know, if you read anything on it, you know, they're going to tell you it's something that you get from animals. It's not something that's that easy to get human. And also, it's just not something to be really concerned about. That's the overall information, if you go out there, that is out there. And last year was a good example of that. Couple people got it, no big deal. They did some contact tracing, sounds like over several states. Now, that's a little alarming since, hey, it's no big deal, but that's a lot of contact tracing. That's a lot of people to track down. That's a lot of people who talk to a lot of people who talk to a lot of people and had contact, and over, you know, 27 states, right? So more than half. And so concerning a little bit, but not really, right? Came, went, no big deal. But I know something's coming. This is a virus, disease, whatever you want to call it, that I actually prep for. I prep for this. This is why I did my video before, to show you why I'm concerned about it and why I prep for it. Okay, so again, please check out that other video. Now, let's get into it. I hope you have your drink. I'm going to share some information with you guys today. And I'm also, obviously, I'm going to go over, don't be concerned, facts, and I'm obviously going to go over how to prepare. I would never just leave you. I try to not do videos where I'm just ranting and discussing, and then not give you a solution at the end, or, hey, this is what you can do to prepare. Okay. So these are my thoughts, okay, surrounding what's happening now. So we're being told it's not that contagious and it's not easy for humans to get. However, over the last couple weeks, we've been seeing this creep up. Again, over the last couple weeks, I was kind of tracking this, hearing of some cases in the UK and some different areas of the world. Again, people who traveled. My first red flag was last week I read an article, and this is before mainstream started talking about it. Early last week, I read that in the UK, they were getting it, but they were saying, that it's hard to do with humans to humans, and that it had to do with animals, and it was coming from Africa. And there was a lot of people you kept seeing it over and over, people that had been traveling to Nigeria. Hey, this person traveled. And so it kind of just made sense, right? It kind of made sense overall of like, okay, that makes sense. People that have been traveling. But then my first red flag was that several of the people that had, the majority actually, that actually had it in the UK, had never traveled, had not been around somebody who traveled. And so that was my first red flag, like, this is not supposed to be that easy to even transmit. You have people that haven't even traveled, people that don't know each other. This is kind of weird. And that's an actual outbreak when it's several people, right? And just so you know, the UK has just doubled their numbers, okay, almost overnight in the last couple days. So that was my first red flag that I was like, okay, that's a little off. Then as we progressed, I'm watching channels and people start talking about it. And then I start seeing the news media, right, start talking about it. And I was like, the news, mainstream is talking about this? Like, this is kind of weird, right? And then you have all these opinions, right? Now you have all these articles coming out talking about what's going on. And what is disturbing is in the same articles, all these articles that you read, it doesn't matter where you get them from, you have contradicting information. You have an expert in a article talking in one sentence about how it's not contagious, it's not that bad, it's very hard to get, it's very, very low concern, the public does not need to be concerned, okay? And then in the next paragraphs down, talking about in their professional opinion how this is odd though. This is something to keep an eye out because this is not acting normal. This is not how it normally works. There's some concern. So, to me, I'm like, are people actually reading? Are people, please tell me when you're researching and you're seeing things that you're actually reading the whole article and reading everything that is being said, because it's like, how can you not be concerned? Let's talk about this. Number one thing I'm concerned about, CDC doing emergency investigations. Okay. If it's not that big of a deal, why are we just not doing normal business as usual, normal business investigations? No big deal. We have a case in Massachusetts. We now have a case that's being investigated in New York. No big deal, right? Business as usual, CDC, that's what you do, right? It's just business as normal. Shouldn't be anything crazy. But for them to have some concern, and in these articles, CDC spokespeople talking about, on one hand, it's not a big deal, but on the other breath saying, wow, as a scientist, this is a little alarming. This is something that we're definitely going to need to be taking a look at because it's not acting right. That should give you pause. Okay. Number two thing, currently 85 cases. Okay. Then I'm going to talk about in the facts why that matters. There's already 80 plus cases. A couple days ago, it was reported anywhere from 9 to 10 countries. Different places are reporting different things. BBC's numbers are higher. CDC last number was like 11 countries, 10 countries. And BBC this morning is talking about 12 countries with 80 plus that have it. Of course, we have 2 stateside. Again, I've been watching this for a while now, the last couple weeks, with the UK, Portugal. Portugal has like 20 or 30 plus. UK now has 20. There's someone else that has quite a few of the cases as well. And so I'm concerned because now this is what I call the bona fide outbreak. When you say outbreak to me, I say, okay, are the numbers there? Mind you, I get it. There's millions and millions of people on the planet, right? So 85, you're like, Tasha, that's nothing. That's nothing because it's all happening right now. It is something. It's all happening right now. It's happening with something that supposedly is not that contagious and is supposedly not that easy to transmit between humans and is. And if you talk about the amount of people and the amount of time period, it is a big deal. And it is something that you should be paying attention to. And it is an outbreak because it's all over the world. And I think we're going to continue to see this. Should you panic? No. I just think that this is more than definitely what happened last year. Okay. And so you should be paying attention. Number 3 thing that makes me like, oh, this is not that big of a deal. But yet we recently, in the last couple of days, just put in an order for 13 million doses of this. And that contract is to include future years. In 2023, what we're going to buy. In 2024, what we're going to buy. In 2025, what we're going to buy. So literally, this so-called, not really an outbreak, not that contagious, but yet we have our emergency stockpile of tiny pox already, vax. And yet we're going to put in, right now today, all of a sudden, we're getting our 13, we're buying 13 more million doses. Not to mention other countries are now, hurrying to get their doses as well. So again, if this is not something worldwide that is being watched and has people concerned, you would not have countries buying millions and millions of doses of a vaccine. Okay. And then the 4th thing is just that this has exploded. If you go into Google right now and just search monkeypox, just search, animal pox, any kind of pox, and it's going to explode with information. Okay. And so part of how you keep up on this is you just be watching the feed, be watching your news feeds, be watching, yes, you can watch mainstream media, because, they'll have the basic numbers to just kind of keep you in the scope of as it moves here. Will we get more cases in the States? What states will that happen? And really be watching how that happens. So let's get into some facts. So I just told you 85 cases. And this is why that's a concern to me. The last outbreak was in 2003, and it was 47 cases. And of those 47 cases, and that was around the world, I can't remember the actual location of the major outbreak, but it was 47 cases. There was no deaths. And so there was an outbreak, okay, in 2003. We've already doubled that, okay? And so maybe not doubled. We're close to doubling that. But I would also say with the amount of people we already have, this thing taking possibly anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to show actual rashes and bumps, that there could be tons more people that are infected that just don't know yet, okay, because it starts with flu-like symptoms, okay? It has a okay, and this is something that's bothering me that I'm seeing on other channels, you guys. Overall, any kind of pox like this, animal pox, has a 1 to 10% death rate, okay? There's different strands, if you will, West African, Congo strand. There's different strands, if you will, of this, okay? And those different ones cause different things. So I'm hearing some people report it's got a 10% death rate, 10% death rate, but the actual strain, now mind you, because this is developing so much, we really don't know a lot. But the strain that is supposedly going around actually has a 3 to 6% death rate, okay? And some might be like, argue like, who cares, 3% or 10% is still crazy. And you're right? None of it is good, okay? So right now, 3 to 6, and that's just what we know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert. I'm just going off of what is being said in regards to what this strand normally offers, that data offers. Okay, so take that for whatever it is. Okay. Typically people get this from animal bites, scratches from animals. It comes from animals. That's why it's so prevalent in some of these other countries like Africa, that type of place, right? they have more wild animals, that type of thing. Starts with that. And then again, everywhere it's like, well, it can spread from human to human, but it's not that contagious. It's not the easiest thing to do or get. And they make it very mild that if you get it, it's like no concern, you're fine. 2 to 4 weeks, you're cleared up and you're okay, right? But the concern is the percentage of death rate, and then what is this evolving into, because it is passing through people fairly easy, okay? Let's talk about that. What I don't understand is when you tell me, hey, it's hard to get it from human to human, but then you tell me that droplets, you can get it from droplets, you can get it from bodily fluids. So, anybody who's making out, kissing, having sex, that type of thing, easily passing it. Skin to skin, because clearly all the pox, what's big is blankets. You have to wash blankets, throws, pillows, clothing. I think of it like head lice, right? If head lice has ever been in your house, how you would be scouring everything. You would be cleaning the carpets. You'd be cleaning anything that's clothy, right? Blankets, throws, pillows, couch pillows, sleeping pillows, body pillows, all the clothes that are, dirty. You'd be making sure you staying up on laundry. It's the same idea. And so to me, that is, anybody who sleeps with each other, possibly, even if you weren't maybe having sex, you could still possibly be getting it. So to me, when you say how you can get it, it sounds pretty easy to get, okay? And we're seeing these numbers kind of reflect that. At one point, they were trying to connect it to sexually transmitted diseases or just, sexual contact, because I guess, and I actually, just so you know, I have not read this anywhere, okay? I actually just heard this spoken on another channel, and I didn't fact check it, you guys. But they were saying that several of the men in the UK, it was men, and it was gay men, right? And that it was being passed that way. So to me, that's easily, you know what I'm saying? That's easily transmitted between people. So what I'm saying is, don't be so trusting that like, oh, it's no big deal, and then just go about your life and not make any changes or get ready, okay? Starts with flu-like symptoms, 2 to 4 weeks for the whole ordeal, but at some point that flu-type symptoms does turn into a rash, i.e. and or bumps, right? The bumps, the ugly pictures that everybody sees that just looks so terrifying. That's what it gets into, okay? There is no, so let's talk about this. There is no specific animal pox vax. Okay, so there is none for this specifically. However, there is vax that is for tiny pox, and it's for the pox family. They're all in the same family, and so they're still, even with the one, it's like an 85 or 90% coverage for pox in general, right? Tiny pox, animal pox, all of it, okay? And a lot of other things that happen, what they would do is they treat the symptoms, right? They treat the flu-like symptoms. They'll treat whatever they do for the bumps and the rashes and all of that, antibiotics, all that good stuff, right? They'll treat symptoms. And then this vax that the FDA, so basically recently, you guys, in 2019, and this is part of my timeline that I talked about in the other video, 2019, the FDA approved, a new vax. And so for tiny pox with an S, right? And so, but those vaxes do work somewhat on the whole entire pox family, okay? And so that's what they're, gonna be utilizing. That's what they're out buying, right? There's not a specific, like, hey, this is for animal pox. So, the question still remains, should you be concerned about this? Should you be worried about this? I think that you should be paying attention. Okay. So let's get into how to prepare. Okay. 1, I've said it already. make sure you watch my other video because I go more in depth with some discussion about different holistic stuff you can do. Okay, stuff you can buy now that you can get ahead of to help you and your family. Okay, first thing is, don't panic. Don't sit here and start screaming from the hills, animal pox, there's an outbreak, all this stuff. No, you just use the time to prepare. My sister, she works at Walmart. One of my biggest fears is like, she brings home something. I'm like, so today I was like, look, this is what's happening. Not a big deal, not anything to panic. But COV is going up here like crazy. So it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, hey, can you start wearing gloves at work? Like, you touch a lot of stuff, right? She's a picker. She manages the picking area, right? So I'm like, can you start wearing gloves? And you don't have to make it weird. Like, oh, did you hear animal pox is going around? Just be like, yo, I've been getting sick lately. I touch all this stuff. People are dirty. And she's like, yeah, and it'll be easy because COVID's going around anyway, right? So I'm like, please start wearing gloves at a minimum, right? Because she just touches so much stuff, okay? Yeah, she's not at work, having sex and making out with people, but still, we don't know enough. And we can't be thinking we're going to just sit here and trust somebody to just tell us, oh, nothing's fine, nothing's fine. You have your blinders on and you're not paying attention, okay? It's just not the smart thing to do. So first thing is, don't panic. Eyes wide open, though, okay? Eyes wide open. That goes into continue to monitor, right? Continue to watch what's going on. Now that everybody and their mother is talking about it, you're going to see the numbers as soon as things happen, right? So as soon as, like, if that New York case turns into something, you're going to know. If it pops off in any other states, you're going to know. Be paying attention to stuff that's happening around the world, because having to do with travel has to do with it, right? So if you're highly traveling, you have family members that are traveling a lot like that, I would be concerned, right? If I had a family member that was traveling all the time, okay? I would be concerned and wanting to monitor and make sure maybe I wasn't around that person, until some time went by, okay? So continue to monitor what's going on, okay? Watching the news, keeping an eye on the numbers, making sure, seeing what states it's in, because the thing with this is it's flu-like. We have COVID going on. You have flu-like. People are like, okay, no big deal. I just have COVID maybe, or I just have the flu. And then a week, maybe 2 weeks goes by before they develop, a rash or some bumps of some sort where they're like, all of a sudden now they know, right? And they know, hey, okay, I'm going to go to the hospital or whatever, right? But by then, they've maybe already had all this contact with people. And that's kind of the bad part about this, is that you may just have flu symptoms. People are willy-nilly all out and about, just thinking, I don't really care. It's just, I'm going to deal with, COVID if I get it, not realizing that something else is happening right now. That we've been warned would happen, mind you. Okay, again, check out that other video. So starts with the flu, transitions to rash. Okay, get your PPE. Now I know you're like, PPE, masks and stuff again. Get your caregiving PPE. If somebody in your family gets this, you're gonna separate them from everybody, right, in a different room. And you, as the caregiver and taking care of them, right, somebody has to bring them food. Somebody has to wash that bedding. Somebody has to, help treat their symptoms, help with the rash, help with the bumps, help with medicine, right? That type of thing. And so you're going to want to be totally covered with, right, clothes is fine, but then you're going to be taking those clothes off right away, or put on one of your little biosuits, have gloves, have a mask, because you're not going to want to expose yourself, but you're going to have to, you're going to be taking care of a family member. Okay. If it's easy and it's adult and you're just like, I'm just going to leave them alone for 4 weeks and I'm just going to open the door and deliver food basically. And that's it. Just get the things, okay? If you only have one bathroom or two bathrooms, there's no way to give them their own bathroom. Again, somebody using the same bathrooms, whatever, does the chance go down? It sounds like it, but it's bodily fluids, whatever. I'm not going to get into how messy bathrooms can be, but, just know you need to prepare for that. I just told my sister to start wearing gloves, at work. If you go somewhere and you're touching everything, hey, it might behoove you, since we don't know a whole lot about this, to just protect yourself. Okay. I'm not saying go out, start wearing masks again and doing all this stuff. I'm not telling you to do that at all. What I'm just telling you to do is prepare and get your PPE in case this comes to your home and you have to care for somebody and you have what you need to be able to help take care of somebody, okay, safely as possible, okay? Be prepared and stay on top of washing. So be prepared that, if this hits your home, you're going to be washing everything, washing bedding, washing clothes, washing all the throws, the little blankets you have on the couches and stuff, all the pillows, decorative pillows, anything like that with clothing. That was highly recommended during tiny pox and any kind of pox, to get it washed, get it cleaned. Okay. I think about carpets, people walking on carpets with their socks or their shoes, maybe, or even barefoot. Again, don't know enough about this, especially this recent one, and how it's just spreading, and it shouldn't be, right? It's spreading and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. Okay. We shouldn't be seeing these numbers, supposedly, with what they're telling us, right? Next thing is, I already said it a bunch of times, watch my video. This next stuff I'm not going to talk a lot about. I don't want to get in trouble too much, you guys. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse practitioner. I'm not some kind of holistic doctor, none of that stuff. I'm just going to tell you what I found with my extensive research. Purple pitcher plant is a plant that way back in the day, indigenous people used to fight tiny pox, the pox with an S, right? It fights and is strong against, and is documented as being effective towards the whole entire pox family, all of them. So purple pitcher plant, it's a plant you can buy. You can actually get the extract, which is Sarracenia purpurea. Just going to show you real quick. I don't know if you can see that. Go watch my other video, okay? You can get that on Amazon, homeopathic, different places. You can get tablets that you can put it on. It's a dilution, put it in water, you can drink it. You need to do, like I said, I'm not a doctor. You need to do your own research. You would need to see how this affects you, pros and cons of this, other side effects. You need to research how it affects other meds and medicines that you could be taking, how you would apply it, all that good stuff. I'm not here to tell you that. I'm just here to tell you that it's a holistic option that our people used back in the day to fight the different poxes. Okay? Because think about this. If this gets bad, and hospitals, we already know what happens with our hospital game is weak. We cannot handle anything. And so any kind of major outbreak that is more than COVID, we cannot handle it. Okay. And so think about this. You may have to handle this at home yourself with your family. You might not be able to just, people are like, oh, no big deal. I had a tiny pox shot back in the day. I'm probably good. Mind you, we don't know. It's been so long. We have no idea what those vax will do, what kind of coverage. Maybe it will help. Maybe it will not. We don't know what's going on right now. And so, a lot of people like, I'll be fine. I'll just go to the hospital. If I get sick, I'll go to the hospital. I'll get a vax. No big deal. Well, it is going to be a big deal if this gets ugly and then stuff is overran and you cannot go and you're having to treat at home. And that's why it's important to get some sort of options at home. Okay. I'm just going to tell you the page. I love this book. Okay. Lost book. If you go to my Amazon influencer link in my description below, it will take you to my Amazon page where I've listed all types of different products that people ask me about, want to know about. Yes, I am affiliated and I do get a small commission if you buy through there and log in. I have there's tons of folders there with different stuff. I have one there that's must-have books, and this book is actually linked in there, okay, under Amazon. I want you to go to page... Let me just see what page. I'm just going to tell you the page. I'm not going to tell you anything about anything. Because again, you need to do your own research 242. So in this book, 242 has some information about old remedies for fighting tiny pox with an S, okay? And then for yourself, again, when it comes to treating at home or whatever down the road, if we even get to that point, don't be overwhelmed. Just think like doctors do in regards to you're going to treat the symptoms. What is happening to that person, their body, and treat the symptoms. And again, be doing research, side effects of things you're taking, what's the effect of it on any other medications you're taking, whether that's over-the-counter meds, whether that's vitamins, whether that's a prescribed medication, okay? It's super, super serious that you don't just do things because somebody told you to do it. And you're not doing things just because I told you to do it. You've got to do your own research. So, long story short, I'm concerned. I'm watching this. I'm monitoring this. I'm thinking about this. And in the weeks to come, okay, in the next couple weeks, if this gets out of control, we'll lock down here in my home. If it doesn't and it kind of tapers off and hey, we just end up having a handful of people that have it and that's it, and then it kind of stops in these other countries and it doesn't really go anywhere, then great. And it fizzles out, awesome. I mean, that's what we want. It's just for it to not be that big of a deal. Of course, nobody died, but the minute, just expect, because this is getting so much coverage right now, if anybody ends up dying from this, especially when there was an outbreak in 2003, 47 cases, nobody died, right? And again, that lines up with, hey, this is no big deal. This is not that contagious. It's okay. There's no reason for the public to panic. And if this ends up being, it's already 80 plus people and it ends up being a few more people, but then at the end of the day, it kind of tapers off and nobody dies. Okay, then we can really kind of still keep it in that realm of, because of the numbers being so low off of, if you go over millions of people that live on the planet, okay, it's okay. It wasn't that big of a deal. It just was like a little mini outbreak and it's okay. But what we've been warned about for so many, many years from our elites and our governments, and then you have your governments jumping through hoops to get doses right now, I don't know, is that us learning because we were so reactive with COVID and not being prepared? Is it us panicking a little bit in regards to just, we're not going to get caught without having something already ready to go and made and have it in their possession so that if something does drop, pop off, like this is our government for once being proactive? Maybe. I would love to be optimistic and that's what it is. I just don't know. Okay. All I know is my eyes are wide open. I'm paying attention and I'll keep you guys posted. If this goes left, I'll bring you more videos on, hey, what's going on. But there's a lot of people covering this right now. So lots of information, lots of channels. Probably every channel I watch has covered this. I'm probably one of the last ones to cover it, to be honest, because if you've noticed, when it comes to current events like this that happen, I like to wait a little bit. Okay. I like to see what happens. I've definitely been watching this over the last couple of weeks. I've definitely been seeing the reports about the UK and Portugal and stuff. And I just kind of was watching it, and so I try to not just want to just cause panic. Like, did you see what's happening? But like I said, it's everywhere. It's all over social media. It's all over the mainstream. It's all over the Google and the internet, and it's all over YouTube, preparedness channels. Everybody's talking about it. So, nobody can say we don't spread the word. That's for sure. So get the things you need, right? Prepare and get the things if you do not have them yet. Pandemic type preps, get that stuff. Make sure you have it. I have other videos on pandemic preps as well. Maybe I'll link those as cards as well, so you have that information. And I will see you guys. I hope you guys stay well. I'd love to hear in your comments below anything that you're doing that you didn't hear me mention that you're doing to prepare, maybe your thoughts. And then I will see you guys on Monday on the next video. I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday, a blessed weekend. Get the things done. Remember what I just said, shut out the noise and move forward, okay? Get the things done that you need to get done. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Take care. Bye.